Our country is currently shut down.
And Mr. Mattis is leaving in a couple of days.
And it seems like our defense strategy overseas is a bit discombobulated.
Of course. So this is Opinionated Post. So let's talk about it.
Hey, I am Jordan Slay,
I am Carlos McGee.
and we're here to start talking about issues that's on everybody's mind
Yes.
and trying to figure out uh, why things are happening like they are. Uh,
I don't think we can figure that out. We're not qualified for that.
you know,
We're not
apparently qualifications are not needed in today's government.
Okay, that's very true. That's very true. So we're gonna be therapists and we're gonna be top secret agents now.
Okay, hey, I take the therapist. Hey, I be a top secret agent therapist. How about that?
Oh, that's cool. That's a good undercover gig.
Yeah,
Good undercover
yeah,
gig.
yeah.
So what's up with this shutdown, man? I mean, God,
What
why
are
why
we
why
in
the
this?
polit- why do the politicians like playing with people's jobs? 800,000 people right now during the Christmas season.
Well, that's probably because their paychecks continue to come, and
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
they're still getting paid.
So when you say government shutdown, it's not those governmental figures. It's the other people. Oh,
Right.
okay.
So the government shutdown affects those who work in agencies that are not fully funded. Do you
Oh,
do you want to know an
mm.
agency that I find to be very interesting? That one of the agencies who are not fully funded. Do you know what one of those agencies are?
Why tell me? I'm curious.
The Secret Service.
The Secret Service.
Yeah,
Wow, really?
the guys guarding the president.
The guys guarding the president. They are not funded, or
They are not fully funded. They are
they're
not
not.
getting paid
The,
technically right now.
so wait,
Yes,
hold on, wait, hold on. So you saying the people who go to training just to take a bullet for the president are not getting paid to take a bullet for the president right now?
that's what I'm saying.
Oh man,
That's what I'm saying.
that's bad. That's a bad day.
Well,
I mean,
it can be. Yeah.
that's a bad day. Imagine. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I don't wish any ill will on anybody. I'm not. I'm nowhere near a Trump supporter. And when I say that, that does not mean because most people, you hear it's like when they were against Obama, they wanted Obama dead. I'm like, why do you hold on? Just because the man's the president, I understand you don't like his politics, but that doesn't mean he should die. It has nothing to do with that. I don't want anybody to die, but and not I say but I don't not mean but anything. When I say that, but my point in saying that is if I'm guarding the president and I'm not getting paid to guard the president, that would make me have that would cause me to have some judgment to maybe I don't want to show up for work that day, or maybe you know I'm sick. I got the
Well,
flu.
well, look, everything I hear about the Secret Service guys, especially those on the protective details, those guys, leads me to believe that those guys are really superhuman and
Yeah,
have an amazing sense of duty, an amazing sense of duty.
yeah.
And so I applaud those guys. I am not surprised that they would work for no pay on a government shutdown. Uh, and what appalls me is that, as president, you have the unmitigated gall to push an issue when you're surrounded by some of the very people who aren't getting paid. And the issue, excuse me, also tends to be even worse for those tens of thousands of employees who aren't getting paid, who have, you know, I guess regular jobs. And by regular jobs, I mean
Right.
jobs where you're not carrying a gun or anything. TSA agents. TSA agents, another agency where the people are
Wow.
not getting paid.
Homeland Security is not getting paid.
Yeah, yeah. So these are the people that go on and stop terrorism in the air, and all that seems to be done. Our president, and yes, he is our president, whether you like it or not. Our
Yeah.
president immediately said that don't worry about it. You know, the only people who aren't getting paid are Democrats. What an asinine statement to make.
The only people. Oh, he didn't say that. I don't. You're not going to get me to believe my president said that.
Your president said that.
No, he didn't.
Yes he
No,
did.
he did.
Yes he did. And you know what? I'm going to find that quote because your president said that. I
No, he
was,
did not.
I am no longer shocked, but I was amazed that he said that. But it's statements like that that just like I said, it amazes me. I found it. Uh,
Real-
Trump, and I quote, most of the people not getting paid in shutdown are Democrats. And immediately,
Hold
I
up, hold
think,
up. You have to cite your source. You just
oh, I'm
can't
gonna
say
cite.
that.
Okay, I'm
You got
gonna
to cite
cite
your
my
source.
source. I'm gonna cite my source. I am looking at the Hill website,
um,
which I don't look at this website much, but from what I can tell, because not only do I like to cite my sources, I also like to look and see if the sources that
it's
I'm
valid.
citing are
Yeah.
slanted. Now say that say that real fast.
Source of site is slanted.
Yeah, exactly. So so the Hill apparently appears to be a pretty centered uh, uh, site here, and I may do a little more research, but I'm also looking at one of his surprise tweets
Uh-huh.
where he said, uh, and I'm quoting here from his tweet from December 27th,
Uh-huh.
2018 at 6:06 a.m. And I quote, have the Democrats finally realized that we desperately need border security and a wall on the southern border? Need to stop drugs, human trafficking, gang members, and criminals from coming into our country. Do the Dems realize that most of the people not getting paid are Democrats? End of
Wow.
quote.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's some serious stuff. That's some serious
That's
wordplay.
our president. That's our president.
That's some serious wordplay there.
And
Wow.
as usual, and I caught this story on CNN, and when no CNN was having a field day. Not only CNN,
You mean the
all
Clinton? You mean
all
the Clinton News Network?
oh well, hey,
They're
even
slanted.
even ABC, well, they are slanted, but
They're
they're not as
slanted.
bad, not as bad as MSNBC, but they are
That's
slanted.
true. That's true.
But but
They can't.
these days, of
Everybody can't
course,
be fair and biased as Fox now. Come
the, but even ABC and I think CBS, but I'm not gonna go out on a limb with that. But everybody is saying no that the president made these claims without a lick of evidence. Now imagine that without a
No, that doesn't
lick of
sound like my
evidence. That,
president.
that that doesn't sound like my president at all. That
That
he
don't
would
sound
go
like my
making off
president.
the ball statements.
You mean,
But
hold up, wait. You mean Agent Orange said something that came
yes,
straight out of his rectum?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I can't believe
oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I refuse to believe that.
So so that's where we are there, and even this whole shutdown thing is a issue of machismo. I mean, the guy, excuse me, our president
Yeah,
had me having being hopeful when he appeared early on to want to work with the House in
hmm
trying to pass some kind of resolution to avoid the shutdown. But
right.
then his consultants and advisors started, getting on him, i.e., Fox News, uh, uh, man, who's the fat dude on the radio?
Oh,
Uh,
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh,
Yeah.
and they pretty much started calling him a sucker, pushover. Uh, uh, well, I
Oh
can't
man,
say what I want to say
they call
on
him
this.
they call him the D word too.
Yeah, they did call him that.
They call him the D word,
Mm,
and
they did.
I'm not talking about the D word. I'm talking about the D word,
Mm.
Democrat.
Ooh.
Lord
So,
Jesus.
so when he got word from his advisors, those said advisors, he immediately backpedaled. Once again, what a surprise! It's
Hmm.
not like we haven't had our president do that before.
Right.
But he backpedaled and then demanded border security. Now, in fairness, for what I've read from the Republican leaders, they just want something. What they're calling a border wall now isn't even a wall.
Right.
Apparently, the only one who's still calling it a wall is really Trump
Right.
because it's that whole macho thing. So right now, everybody on the hill is in a urinating match. Do you like how I said that?
It's like,
My, my daddy would say a pissing contest, but I'm trying to stay clean.
well, you did a good job until you actually said
Oh, okay.
it. You did a good job till you actually said it. But it's all good. You can say pissing. That's okay. It's on the YouTube.
so Carlos, what's your take on this whole government shutdown thing?
Well, I know the thing I did, I had to do some research on it because, since I don't work for the government, I, it doesn't really affect me that way financially because I don't draw my paycheck from them. But I know it affects us in a whole lot of different other ways because it does affect people's work mood when they're not getting paid. You know, like say Homeland Security and Secret Service and a bunch of other services that are funded that way, and they're currently not getting paid, especially during the Christmas holiday. It's to me it's crazy to play with people's jobs. But I did a little research, and like back in the '70s, I know it was almost like a shutdown, like a year, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year. Jimmy Carter had went through 3 shutdowns. It's crazy, and in the last few years, it's like a shutdown every few years, probably every 4, 5, 6 years. And I honestly didn't know it had been that many shutdowns. You know, it was something to me. To me, it was actually surprising to me. You know, how often it happens. You think that when people are talking about it, it happens. I mean, you think people talking about it. It's a big catastrophe that's happening, and this whole lot because by the reason, and I'm gonna say the reason why I was surprised is because you know it's happened in my lifetime a bunch of times. But but outside of it, if I didn't watch the news, I never would have known it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
I never would have
Mm.
known it if I didn't watch the news. And honestly, like a large part of it, I just recently in the last few years because of a certain political climate change. In the last few years, I've become really more conscious of the news and everything. And I also had to really pull back from the news because of the climate change, political climate change. People are giving their opinions and hostilities and all this other stuff. So, and honestly, before became aware politically of what was going on, I didn't even know it. So, I know the people that are complaining about it are not even really affected by it. It's the point that I'm making. But when you think about 800,000 people who are not getting paid, especially during the holidays. you know, it seems like it's something terrible, it's a terrible thing to play with
Mm-hmm.
just to get your wall. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, you know, granted, this is all doing a budget negotiation and all that, but this is supposed to be a wall that we were not even supposed to be paying for. This is a wall that Mexico's supposed to be paying for.
Well, you heard what Mexico said.
What did they say?
We're not paying for an effing wall. Of course, they didn't say effing. The
Oh,
former president said the whole, you know, word. But
oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. And,
Well,
you know, and here's the thing. I, the problem we have with this particular shutdown, whereas other shutdowns may have been more politically motivated,
mm-hmm.
this one is ego motivated.
Right.
It's purely ego, and I think that's what. Yeah, we've had shutdowns. We've had shutdowns with Bush, and that was more or less the shutdowns were more or less initiated by the House or
Mm-hmm.
the Senate not being able to agree.
Right.
That's where the shutdown came from.
Mm-hmm.
This shutdown came because the president of the United States said as much. I will own the shutdown. Now, of course, we know he's not owning it. He's blaming the Democrats, but he's like, I've been proud to shut the government down. I mean, that is unheard of from hearing that from a president. No president is proud to shut the
Yeah.
government down. I mean, and one thing that we do know, I guarantee you, come 1/1, whenever the new House is seated, the Democrats will pass something to
Right.
end this shutdown. Because I mean, why wouldn't you? The Republicans know that this makes them look bad, but it doesn't matter because they're all too scared to say anything because nobody wants to go against Trump because of fear that their base may revolt against them. And to me, this administration is a prime example of how we as Americans do not want to face up to truth. And sometimes the truth is ugly, and sometimes the truth does not look like we want it to look. What do I mean? we
Right.
had we had 8 years. Oh God, I almost said 12 years. I really wish we did have 12 years. We had 8 years of no scandal. Now it doesn't matter whether you like Obama or not.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether you voted for him or not. I
Right.
mean, we've had more drama than we've had, in 1 year than we ever had with him. And can you imagine if Kanye came into the Oval Office cussing and fussing and carrying on like he did when Obama was president?
Man,
Oh
it
my
would
God!
it would have been it would have been everybody been on their
And
ear. Man, it
and
wouldn't even it would have been. I don't even want to talk about that. I
and
don't
we
like
still
I don't like Kanye,
and
so
we
I don't
still
like.
want to we still. I mean, he lost a fan here a while ago, and
uh,
and yet people still have a hard time, in denial. They want to say that Obama was the worst president ever when the numbers clearly prove otherwise.
well,
And so,
listen, you know,
and no, and
I don't even want to get into that because anytime people say that he's the worst president, or that's just a matter of opinion. It's just
it's
like it's just like I know people that hate peaches. Peaches was one of the most delicious fruits known to man to me. But I've known people to say, "Yeah, I don't like peach. I don't like
shall,
you don't like
shall
a
I
peach."
leave you and Peaches alone to have some
Yeah, I'm
quiet
like,
time? That
yeah.
was kind of
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not talking
weird.
about this. I'm not talking about the strip. I'm talking about the fruit.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong Peaches. My
Yeah,
bad.
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
anybody you know.
Okay.
I don't hang out with those type
Okay. Yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
But either
Anymore.
way, but
But
that's just a matter of opinion. You know, when people say if there's anybody who's saying that Obama was the worst president of all time, then that's your opinion. If you think that Trump is the best president of all time, that's your opinion.
it's wrong. But
It's
that's
it's
your opinion.
it's there's nothing that's backing that up outside it being your opinion, but you can say that.
And we know what opinions are like.
They everybody has one.
But here's the thing. I think what is lacking is compassion.
Right.
I think every president. Look, I've not had an issue with any president we've had from the time that I can remember a president and care to
Right.
now. I've never ever said before that the president didn't have some kind of compassion for the people, whether I believed in you or not. Jimmy Carter, arguably probably the worst president of my lifetime being aware,
Right.
but when he got out, the man shines. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's probably the best dude, the
Right.
best man, period,
Right.
for what he does
Right.
outside of that. Because the guy's 90, he's still over 90 something, and he's still teaching Sunday school. He goes to Habitat for Humanity. He
Right.
broke his peace deals. I mean, the man is amazing. Uh, both of the Bushes,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't vote for him, but I felt in my heart that they had compassion for the country and they did what they felt was right. Now I may disagree with how they did it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and but I felt like they did what they felt was right. I would never say that they were not patriots, they were not good Americans.
Right.
We,
I
we,
have to say something. This current administration has really made me appreciate those individuals more.
oh man, you know what? I wish I could call George Bush and say I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
I do
sorry for all the times. Now, no, he wasn't. I'm sorry for even the times when I said that man was painful to watch giving a
too.
speech because he was
Yeah.
a terrible orator.
Right.
God showed me that I should have been thankful
Faithful.
for
Right.
that because
And I
now what
actually
we
like
have is
him,
something totally, totally different.
Daddy Bush, Son Bush, and McCain. Now, when McCain ran against Obama, everybody I was like, I don't like that dude, blah blah blah. But then you see this other side of McCain, and I'm sitting there like, hold up, he's a pretty stand up dude.
I mean, when you see, look, I liked McCain when he
Right.
was running before. This was before that we even thought Obama had a chance because people forget during the primary, Obama was surprised that Obama
Right.
was the front runner.
Okay.
I was all for McCain. I was Mr. McCain. It was going to be my first year being Republican until
Right.
he brought on Sarah Palin, and you realize he had
That was
never
his
met Sarah Palin.
that was his crux.
And that was the beginning of and some can argue Sarah Palin's coming in was the beginning of this far right, extreme right Tea Party's culture we have now.
Mm-hmm.
But when that happened, then bam. But you know what? The more I saw McCain, the more I respected that man because he stood up for what he believed is right. And he even said not long before he died that his biggest regret was bringing on Sarah Palin. One of his biggest regrets was bringing on Sarah Palin
Right.
for his VP candidate. I mean, but the man, and we go back. Our president insulted this man, this war hero.
This war hero.
I mean, this guy who tried to do what he felt was right. I mean, I'm like,
And
wow, really?
the thing I like about it is like, and this is before. I mean, and it, I'm, it's when I'm going to say it. Trump made me appreciate him. Trump made me appreciate him. Trump
Yeah,
being president made me appreciate McCain
yeah,
because if it were not for McCain standing up for himself and standing up against Trump,
yes,
and those, and when during the vote for the health care and
uh-huh,
everything, and it's just like okay, I because I'm gonna tell you why. It had nothing to do with Republican against Republican. It had nothing to do with that because to me all that stuff is arbitrary. Because the political line moves depending on who's the president and what they're motivated to do.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That it moves because I'll get into that later. That's another story. But anyway, he stuck by his guns. He said, "This is not right. This is not the right way to do it, and I'm not voting for it." And
Right, right.
I appreciate that. It's
Well,
just
you
like,
see,
okay, you can have your politics, but don't let your politics guide you have to have character when it comes to your politics, and you have to
yeah,
know what the right and wrong. Your politics should not judge right and wrong. Right and wrong should judge your politics.
exactly. Exactly, exactly. And in church, I always say people tend to let their theology override what is in the Bible,
Right.
what is said. You know, your
Exactly.
theology doesn't always mean the same thing that the word says.
Hmm.
So, I mean, which way do you go? Well, you
Yeah.
would think the answer would be obvious, but it's not. And so,
Right.
what we have now is a president that I will say has made me appreciate other. I appreciated George. I appreciate George Bush Senior. Now I appreciate
Yeah.
him.
I
I
do.
I watched his whole funeral procession. I
Right.
appreciate him so very much. And once again, if I had the opportunity to say I am sorry,
Right.
because had I known, and I think now, we sit here, we can say how we wish Obama would come back, and but
No.
he's like, no, I ain't coming
Well,
back.
yeah.
But I think at this point, we take anybody back.
Well, this is the
Oh,
thing I
thank.
want that is, if anything, that that this current climate has done, it's made it's snapped people out of their political trance of I'm going to vote this way because this is how I've always been voted. I've
Well,
always voted.
you hope it has. I mean, we won't really know
Yeah.
for a couple more years now. I do think that the folks, some people are so embarrassed by their choices that they're not going to tell you anything until they're
Yeah.
able to go into the ballot box and get behind that curtain or between that divider and do what they want to do without
Right.
anybody seeing it. But I'm sure that in secret everybody's saying, well, this was bad, but nobody wants to admit that.
Yeah. All right. So that's your boy. That's your
All
boy.
right.
Shut down. So we just hope for the the whole reason that this shutdown is, it's like, like it's back in the '70s. Jimmy Carter, they did the whole shutdown was the three of the times it was because of funding abortion, and I understand that. Three of the times it was the shutdown because of funding abortion, and they came to a compromise that the only times that abortion should be uh, funded is because of rape, incest, and mother's health. That's
But
when it should be funded.
that's still a big issue for them.
I understand that, but then
Yeah.
no, then Reagan came in. He said no, none of it's going to be funded.
And I wonder how many
None of
more.
it's going to be funded. But that
And
that was later. But my point in saying that is, I can understand the government being shut down because of that, because that's more of a moral stance.
yeah, ideology. Yeah.
That's more of a moral stance, and I know I can understand that abortion is a gray area for some people, and some people it's white, it's black and white. And so if you stand on that, I can understand it. But if you're saying, you know what, I want to build this wall, and it's going to cost $5 billion, and y'all are going to fund it, or these people are not going to get paid. That's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing in my book, because there are so many other ways to remedy that problem, if you wanted to call it a problem. There's so many other ways to do it that not paying 800,000 people for X amount of days is not. It's just not the right way to do it. It's not the right way to go, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. But here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Mm.
So, Mattis.
Stand up guy, apparently, probably from what I've read, citing CNN sources and even some Fox News sources. Apparently, Maddox was probably the one dude that was a stabilizing force in the administration,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's had enough.
Yeah.
And I think the thing to understand about this whole thing is the Secretary of Defense is one of the few cabinet positions that a lot of times, more times than not, tend to transcend administrations and party lines.
Right.
Democratic presidents, keep a Republican defense secretary there for continuity purposes because they know what they're doing. Very rarely are you going to have an issue with that area that's going to be one of political differences. But what you will have is a difference of when you have someone who is a seasoned military man has his advice overlooked because of, once again, ego prime.
Yeah. Uh, it's hard. It's hard to when you have someone you appoint somebody as Secretary of Defense, and then you say, you know, you don't do it because I have this slot I need to fill. You do it because you need someone who is knowledgeable, someone who knows what they're talking about, someone that is, like you said, seasoned. That they, they know the military. They know all this well. They know the repercussions, the actions. They have the foresight to see things. If you bring them an idea, like, "Hey, we're going to pull out early," and they say, "No, don't do that," and you say, "Yeah, I'm going to do that," then why do you have them there?
Exactly, exactly,
Why do you have them there? It's just like
and
Trump. Trump is good at a lot of things. If this was, hey, let's build a casino in Syria, and okay, Trump,
that's probably. I mean, he's had a couple go bankrupt, right?
I understand, but he still done it. He still did it.
Okay.
If he let's okay, let's build a hotel resort in Syria. Okay, Trump, you should lead that because you've done that before. You've done that successfully. But when it comes to the military, you have strategists, you have people in place to tell you the right and the wrong way to do this. And if I'm correct in saying this, wasn't let's go back to when Obama was the president. Then he pulled out early. What was the repercussion of that?
Oh man, Muslim, un-American, unpatriotic,
Right.
blah blah blah.
He pulled out early. But no, but what was the result over there? What organization formed over there because of
Al Qaeda,
that? Mm,
Al Qaeda, and ISIS. And the problem, well, ISIS formed is what formed, and the problem
right,
is you're going right into what I think. I think that you are by doing this, you are endangering the very national security
right.
of this country, and you are asking for a another 9/11 tryst.
What we're getting at is when you pull out of an area too early, it becomes unstable.
Well, the problem, yeah, because you leave a vacuum, and here's what we're good at. We have been good in recent years of going into places and gutting the support structure,
Right,
trying to rebuild it, and maybe not our own image for what we think it should be.
right,
And so when you do that, yeah, maybe if you had went in a different approach and not done all that, you might have been okay. But when you go in and gut the whole structure as we have, and you leave a vacuum, when we pull
hmm
out, that vacuum has to be filled. He's
right.
talking about coming out of Afghanistan. Does anybody remember what Afghanistan was like before we went in there? And I took Osama bin Laden and the falling of Twin Towers for us to go in and overthrow the Taliban. Before then, it was just there was just great news story about how women are oppressed and how they're destroying the world's treasures. But that's what comes out of those vacuums, and we
Right.
are about to leave and create another vacuum, and it is going to be an issue where the security of this country is going to be affected. The more that I see how some people are viewing these things, the more that I'm almost convinced. And I hate to say this, I don't want this, but that people won't get serious until a atomic something goes off in an L.A. or a New York or Chicago, And then somebody's going to say, "Oh, well, we should have kept a close eye on that." Unless you're Trump, then Trump would just blame Obama somehow.
Well, yeah, it'll been it'll be something some way that it will get blamed. But you're right. It will take a big tragedy. Of course we don't. Nobody wants that.
No,
And by leaving your military there to stabilize it, you have an opportunity to not, like you said, not only monitor it, you have an opportunity to also to potentially control the climate there.
yeah,
So
and I
and
hope you
and,
don't
and
want to be there forever.
no,
But
you don't want to be there forever. But you could, if you change the climate, help them rebuild, help them restabilize themselves, help them get back on their feet to where they can govern themselves, instead of just pulling out and leaving them to the wolves for for anyone else to come in and take over, and you don't and you can't control who that entity is. If you can't control that entity, then whatever happens down the line is ultimately your fault.
right,
But if you stay there, whether it be, you have to, and I'm this is real honest. You have to stay there for at least one generation, at least, for the kids there to grow up, and for the kids there to get stable, and the kids there to take over. Because if you don't, a lot of the bad blood and a lot of the um, bad seeds will begin to plant there if you withdraw early. You see what I'm saying? You
hmm
you just have to do it that way. This way, if you stay there for at least one generation to grow up, learn how to take care of themselves, they are taking over the structure that you have put in place. That is a whole lot better than you just withdrawing. Hello,
I'm here.
you fell asleep
I
on
did not fall asleep.
me.
I was listening to everything you were saying, and I was not falling asleep. I was soaking in all that deep knowledge you were talking about. So no, I was not asleep. I was
but
listening
like
to
I
some
said,
music in my head, but I wasn't asleep.
you have to stay there. And I like you said, you cannot stay there forever, but you have to be there at least a generation, just a
Well, you have,
generation.
yeah, and you're right. You have to be there at least a generation. And I look at Japan. We since World War II, we've had a presence over there. Now
Right?
you could pretty much say we need to have to be there? No. I mean,
No.
same with Germany. Do we have to be there? No. But you had to have some kind of stabilizing presence in order for that country to be able to come up.
And
Now we've done.
that's a perfect, because for a long time after World War II, Japan wasn't even allowed to have their own military.
Oh no, no, and
You see what I'm saying?
it's still in their constitution they can have a self defense force. Now they've recently been kind of getting around that, and the countries have been letting them because I don't think Japan is a threat that they were, but I mean you're right. You have to you have to be able to have some kind of exit strategy. The issue we have with Iraq, and the commander said this after they retired, of course, was a big problem when we went into Iraq. We had no exit strategy. There was
Right.
no plan on how to get out. And then the first thing we did was dismantle their military,
Right.
and that was an issue. And
Right.
so we shouldn't have done that. We should have worked around that.
Right.
But because we did all that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in there, and now you got folks. Even now, you got folks who are in their parliament who want the U.S. to leave. They
Right.
want the U.S. to leave, and some of these people are some extreme folks. Once again, what the president is doing is very ill advised. So ill advised that the Secretary of Defense said, "You know what? I can't deal with this. You deserve to have somebody to have your viewpoint,
Right.
which it, I don't agree with you to the point of
Exactly.
I've got to let this go.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to see you. I've got to
Right.
go." And I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe you may know, but I kind of heard that after he resigned, Trump turned around and kind of fired him. Was that the?
Right.
Have you heard that?
Yeah. He said he was going to cut. He pretty much is going to cut his resignation short, pretty much.
Well,
And that's why it was. I think it was supposed to be on for like 6 months or something like
well,
that.
I think he was supposed to leave at the end of January or something like that.
Yeah, but Trump said, "No, you can go ahead and leave the first." So I don't know. I don't remember the exact date, but pretty. I don't. The Trump did say, Trump is pretty much excusing him early. Pretty much what he's saying is, you can't quit. I'm firing you. So, so
It's very Trump of him.
yeah, it's very. So yeah. Well,
Very.
it's actually here to CNN. He says Trump to oust Mattis 2 months early, announces new acting Secretary of Defense. This was on the 23rd. This is the CNN. So he's dismissing him 2 months early.
I guess the real surprise is he can still find people that want to work for him.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people have been like, nah, nah, So it's been so many people to have. But here's the scary thing is this. The only thing that's scarier than someone that's qualified, because Mattis has been in the military for like 49 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's been part of the military for 49 years. He enlisted in 1969.
Wow.
1969.
Wow.
Now, the only thing that's scary of someone of that stature leaving is someone who actually agrees with Trump coming in. That's the scarier thing. That's what's actually scary.
Well, something's even scarier to me is that the man, John Bolton, the man who wants us to bomb North Korea now, actually is against the pullouts of the military. I never have cared much for John Bolton. I don't know the man personally, other than he's got like what's the oatmeal guy, Fred Grimley's like mustache, but he doesn't
Oh
seem
yeah,
to have the Fred
yeah,
Grimley
yeah.
personality. Uh,
Diabetes,
Diabetes.
diabetes.
So, but the fact that I'm actually agreeing with this dude that to me has issues himself. I
Right.
mean, I just wonder. I just wonder who's driving the school bus here. I mean, it's like all the students are there. I'm not
Right.
one to say that I could do a better job, but Carlos, I could do a better job.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
You're a pretty smart feller. I've known you for quite some time, and I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't have enough friends nor enough supporters with money to get me elected to anything. But if I did,
Yeah.
I don't think I could do worse.
No, you can't.
I
But
don't think
it's
I could
it's
do
just
worse.
it's just crazy. But like I said, you got with Mattis coming out, this man, like I said, he has 49 years of experience,
Leaving.
and he's leaving. But that tells you that says a lot. And he's not just leaving because it's it's leaving over something of a serious matter because
Over serious matter.
this is history repeating itself. Like we said, and I keep it real. When Obama pulled out, it created ISIS. Now Trump wanted to pull out, and who knows what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? This is not the climate or the decision shit that we should be doing this in. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
it's just crazy.
I agree.
But
I,
hey, that's our president, man. We gotta we gotta we gotta support him.
and once again, I stress that's our president.
That's our
I,
president.
I like to I like to stress that because at the end of the day, we do live in a democracy,
Yeah.
and
For
you know
those who are in denial, yes, he's your president too.
he's your president.
He's
Yes,
your president too.
yeah, yeah. Whether you want him or not,
Whether you want it or not,
you got him.
it is what it is.
It's like just think of it like as a cold suppository on a colder morning night. yeah, that was pretty
Okay.
bad. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Uh, I see where you was going, but I didn't want to go there with you. So I was
yeah.
like, I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm gonna leave you there. Now. You still my boy though. You be still cool. You still cool. I don't co-sign, but I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But that's about it, man. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, man. Well, good. I think this was a great show, and we're going to have email address to have you guys write into us to tell us what you think.
Yeah,
What is your opinion?
yeah.
And then we're gonna read and share some of those opinions
If
on
you
the
love
air.
us, we'll say it. If we suck, we'll say it.
And look,
Hey,
you don't have to like me. You don't have to agree with me.
you don't have to agree with
You
us.
know, let's be civil
Let's
in
be
our
civil about it.
disagreeing, but you don't have to be. And we'll give you just as much read time as will anybody else.
Right,
And
right,
but yeah, we definitely want to hear from you. So as the coming shows, as our shows continue to come out, we'll definitely have some way for you to get back with us and give us your feedback. Let me know what your opinion is, what you think. You disagree or do you agree?
right. And if there's something that y'all want us to talk about, you just hit us up and
Oh yeah.
either leaving the comments. And this is one thing that's very important. Please hit the subscribe button because we're going to be trying to come out at least a couple times a week, just talking about things. We're not going to be insulting about anything because politics to us is not we don't we take it seriously, but we don't take it serious to the point where we're going to insult people.
No.
We're going to take it to the serious to the point where no one deserves a voice. Like I always tell people, I have some very conservative ideas and I have some very liberal ideas. Those are my ideas. So even though I don't agree with most Republicans, or even though I don't agree with most liberals, I see where you're coming from. I understand why you think that way. So I respect it, and in that respect, I'm going to give you a voice. I'm going to hear you out, and then if there's something I can learn from you, I'm gonna learn it. If there's something you can learn from me, I hope you learn from it. So that's how I look at politics. And the only way that we all get this political, get into the political climate that we want to be in, is if we talk about it. So let's talk about it. That's our tagline. Let's talk
Let's
about it.
talk about it. Yep. Yep. And just remember, please, when you come with your opinion, please be ready to tell me where you got it from. Because I will
Oh,
check up on you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I will check up on you now.
That's
I
don't
will. I will.
don't
I mean,
don't.
everything that every website says isn't true. So, so just keep that in mind. So when
don't
you
don't pull
and
your
we
opinion from that dark hole that is in the back of yourself.
yeah,
Pull your opinion from facts. If
yes.
your opinion is grounded in facts, then hey, let's have a conversation. But when you start talking about Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave you to your own devices
Yeah.
because I can't do anything. I'm literally bringing a knife to a gunfight. I can't battle the boogeyman and the tooth fairy, but I can talk about facts all day long.
All day long.
All day long. So
But hey,
everybody,
that no,
go,
oh, I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
So
No,
everybody, listen. I had fun, and Jordan, I hope you had fun.
I had a great time. Had a great time. Look to do it again.
Yeah,
Look forward to having the next episodes. We're gonna try and keep it current.
yeah.
So please hit the subscribe button. Let us know that you like what you see, and
Subscribe and like. Subscribe and like.
we'll see you next time.
All right. Let's talk about it.